Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Thursday, October 5th, 2017. And here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front, in Asia, up. Over there in Europe, up. DAX down a little bit. Here in the States, boom, boom, boom. That's right, Dow and NASDAQ. Oil, whoop. Gold, pop. So what's going on? That Trump rally continues. Again, we were the first magazine to forecast the Trump rally, but I have to tell you, we see danger signs ahead, even though things are looking positive. The correction may be sooner than later, but here's right now. U.S. stocks hit record highs Thursday as the S&P 500 completed its longest winning streak in 4 years, and it's on trend to complete its longest winning streak since 1997. NASDAQ, pop, hit another intraday high and closed at a high. What else do we got? Well, what's happening is that investors are looking globally. And we're going to get to some of those global numbers in a minute. And you can see that things are lifting up a bit. And what else do we have? Earnings season's coming up. And people are pretty optimistic about that. But also what really moved the market higher is it looks like the Trump administration is pushing through that tax plan. And that tax plan is a good plan for the multinationals, the big companies, and that's going to boost growth. But the numbers to look at are going to come out Friday when they have those unemployment numbers. And they may be a little bit worse because of the hurricanes, but we'll see what happens. So that's about it with the markets. Again, it's reaching a very high point, and there's really not a lot to substantiate it because the tax reforms have been based into the market since it began the Trump rally after he was elected in November. So those earning reports have to come in pretty strong. Oil popped up today on the news that Saudi Arabia and Russia are talking about, well, we're going to extend that production cut, not until March of next year, but we're going to go through the end of 2018. But again, we see where the markets are. That's where it is. It's a supply and demand issue. You're getting more supply coming out of Libya. And as the prices go higher, the rig counts go higher. So what you see is what you get as far as we see it. And today, gold went down. Gold went down on the news that the dollar's going up. And the increases of a rate increase, the percentages keep going higher. It's hitting almost 80%. And one of the Feds came out today and said 3 more rate increases in 2018 and count on one back in December, coming soon. So here you go from Financial Times. Higher rates and low inflation tests gold's mettle. Yes, it's true, but the world is bigger than the United States. And you're going to start seeing some changes coming about that we've been writing about in the Trends Monthly. Out today, a hot one you won't find anywhere else. Talking about gold and where things are going. As predicted, China pushing yuan down to increase exports. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means go back to your digital currencies. Yeah, they're banning them over there in China with the Bitcoin, right? So if you're not going to be able to buy Bitcoin because they're going to devalue the yuan to export more, what does that mean for gold? Boop, it's going to shine. Same thing over there in India. They're having problems as well. Yep. Gold is bigger than the United States, and we think although it's going down now, the long term is up. Here are some more stories in your Trends Monthly, the only place that you could read history, before it happens. Hey, talking about those cryptocurrencies, how about calling it millennial gold? Cryptos of the future. We detail the whys, the whens, and the hows. Brick and mortar retail poised for on-trend comeback. Hey, how about those driverless cars? Huh? It's a dead end. We don't see it happening when they say it's going to happen. So watch out. Look closely where you invest and who you invest with. And those self-driving cars, forget about it. It's not going to happen as we see it, not when they're saying it's going to happen, and we give you the whys, the whens, and the how it's not going to happen, but where it will happen. And here comes the sun car. Battery-free cell phones with wireless charging. Rural towns in decline. What saves them? Who, what, and where again? Where they're going to happen, why they're going to happen, and how to invest in them. Most drinking water contains plastic bits. What does that mean? On and on. One trend after another that you won't find anywhere else. Money back guarantee. And now moving on to some other trends, and again, it's all tied together. We talked about the global aspect and why we see continued growth. And the world is bigger than the United States. The World Bank has increased its forecast for China's economic GDP growth to 6.7%, up from 6.5%, and brought them up for 2018 as well. China reported its PMI, a gauge of industrial activity, boosted a recovery in exports and construction. The reading stood at 52.4, the highest since 2012. And the World Bank also upped its forecast for developing East Asia and the Pacific area as well. So, it's a global trend. We don't see a big slowdown, but there may be a crash for other reasons. Let me give you an example of the why, the when, and the how, which is what we try to do with all of the trends that we talk about. When they're going to happen, how they're going to happen, why they're going to happen, and steps that you can take to avoid the dangers and seize on the opportunities. Eurozone investment regains sparkle. I've been reading all of these growth areas. The growth areas are coming for one reason, and that is cheap dough. And the cheap dough cycle may be coming to a very quick halt. Because if these interest rates go up too high, this thing goes down. So I started reading this article in today's Financial Times. They're talking about Bulgaria. And it said Italy's jewelry exports suffered, falling 30% by volume in the 3 years to 2009. And many of the hundreds of workshops in Valencia closed their doors. But now they're opening them, building new buildings. Second quarter figures show investment rising in all four of the Eurozone's largest economy, ranging from 3.6% in Italy, previously one of the region's laggards, to 6.2% in Germany. It goes on to say here, but Bulgaria has also benefited from QE, quantitative easing. As part of the program, France's central bank bought bonds issued by LVMH, Bulgaria's parent company, helping lower the group's borrowing costs. Under the terms of those bonds, LVMH can now pay an annual coupon of, you ready for this? 0.375% to borrow until 2022. Isn't that something? We all get shafted big time But the big guys get the big breaks. Could you imagine giving a jewelry company and a firm that makes all this high fashion your money and my money? It's a multinational takeover. The big pigs are in charge. They hardly ever report this. So going back to the global economy, hey, those new mortgage applications are going down, huh? I wonder why. Yeah, the rates are going up and we, the little people, can't pay more. But we got to take care of the too big to fails. Yeah, all those politicians that get money from them, that stupid people call campaign contributions, that adults call bribes and payoffs. Here's the proof. Private credit booms as U.S. hedge funds and buyout groups pile in. Financial Times. Private equity and hedge fund firms are lending to companies at the highest rate ever, driving up competition in the sector and forcing funds to look outside the U.S. for more opportunities. This is global. This is where your crash is going to come. There was no such thing as hedge funds and private equity firms when I was a young guy. They're buying up everything. This is a disgrace. It leaves no opportunity for we the people. That's why they used to have regulations in place. But they're all gone. Don't forget to vote. Yep. Vote for your Democrats and Republicans that keep shafting it to you and giving your money to the rich. On to some international news. Our Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, here Rex, here boy. Rex Tillerson says he will not quit, but fails to deny calling President Trump a moron. Guess you call a spade a spade. Oh, couldn't say that when Obama was in, but I can say it now that Trump is in. It's a joke. Terrible. What's going on in this country? You like this? More war. Mad Dog Mattis eases U.S. rules of engagement in Afghanistan. That means they could kill anybody, anywhere. Civilians don't count. Rules of engagement, isn't that a nice word for slaughter? Murder. No, rules for engagement. Take it easy. We're getting engaged. We're going to slaughter innocent people more so than we've been doing before. And by doing that, Mad Dog, you guys haven't won a war since World War II, but boy, you wear all your military drag and you got that really lousy attitude. Stop slaughtering people, bring the troops home, rebuild America as it's rotting, and all the people suffering from these hurricanes. Seal the borders with our troops and honor the founding fathers, no foreign entanglements. Mad Dog. But Mad Dog says he backs U.S. staying in Iran nuclear deal. Wait a minute. That was yesterday. Today we got new news. Trump will declare Iran nuclear deal not in the national interest. What do you call him, a moron before? I would too. Iran hasn't done anything to anybody. Oh, yeah, they're helping that guy Assad. We said Assad has to go. Yeah, but he was invited over there by Assad. While the United States is a foreign nation intervening in a sovereign nation, and we have no business being there. It's against international law. Yeah, but Iran, they like them Houthis over there in Yemen. Oh, no, they had no proof at all. They're very separate. But we're supporting, not we, the madmen selling $115 billion worth of arms to Saudi Arabia to slaughter them. So we don't like Iran because they're stopping the slaughter of Yemenis, possibly, and we're supporting the slaughter of, oh, by the way, Obama sold the Saudis $110 billion worth of armaments to slaughter the Yemenis, and he was the one where it all began. They announced it from Washington, D.C., the Saudi ambassador. And the United States has been part and parcel of it, with refueling, armaments, and reconnaissance and intelligence. And that shows you how stupid it all is, because that's why it's going nowhere other than murdering tens of thousands of Yemenis, because the United States military has no intelligence. By their deeds you shall know them, and they haven't won anything. Trump goes on to say he's going to decertify the P5+1 nuclear deal with Iran ahead of the October 15th deadline, with no evidence that Iran is violating the deal in any way. As a matter of fact, everyone is saying they're abiding by it 100%. Instead, he's saying, quote, "It's just not in the national interest of the United States to honor the deal's terms." Yeah, a moron. Now, what happens? Iran's going to keep selling oil even though the United States is putting sanctions on them and Russia. And as we wrote in the Trends Journal, and more in your trend alerts, and more in your Trends monthlies, and more in Trends in the News, China is now dealing in oil with Iran and Russia and any other nation that the United States puts sanctions on. China's dealing with them in yuan. What does that mean? Well, it means you could take your yuan, and if you don't like it, you could cash it into gold. That's right. And that's why we see a strong foundation for gold. And if the petrodollar dies, so too does In God We Trust, because no one's going to trust it anymore without the petrodollar behind it. Oh, and what happened? Didn't I mention earlier? Russia and Saudi Arabia, they're meeting now, and they just agreed to limit production of oil. So you see Saudi Arabia and Russia are coming together, and the United States may be splitting apart. As that petrodollar goes down, so too will the markets, and the economy will crash if that happens. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.